Phase Hero starts right now, episode 30. Can you believe we're on our 30th episode, guys? BD here, joined today by Jenna Anderson.
Hey, everybody. It is a chonky show, as the chat is already pointing out. So excited to be here.
Call us the chonky heroes. We got Aaron Perrine.
What's going on, everybody?
Oh, what's going on is there's a lot to talk about. There's some thank yous to dish out to the Phase Hero community. Thank you, everybody. Also, everybody who's ordering merch, I'm trying to send thank you videos to everybody. We had hundreds of orders. The Fourth Wall app allows me to send thank yous. If you haven't gotten one yet, I'm sorry. I promise I'm doing my best to get to everybody. I have probably put 2 hours into sending thank you messages, and I'm trying to make each one unique and not just say the same thing to everybody. So thank you for that. Thank you for making our Fantastic Four immediate reaction episode the most single-day downloads in Phase Hero history. The most audio downloads ever on the first day. Thank you for that. It means a lot. You guys are rocking with us, and thank you. That was a fun episode. We're going to talk about that whole trailer release strategy today. And thank you for joining us on future episodes. Give you a little tease of what's to come. Sunday night, we might be live after the Super Bowl. It seems like all the Super Bowl trailers are dropping earlier than we thought. We know Thunderbolts is still to come, Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible, Superman at the Puppy Bowl. So we'll see what we get Sunday. We'll also see if those of us who host this show end up having social lives at all. So we don't know if we'll be live on Sunday yet. We'll play it by ear. If you guys want us to be live, you want to join, let us know. That's the number one way to get us here. But we might be live Sunday. If not, we'll talk about all those trailers and stuff Wednesday. I have a hard time imagining I'm not going to want to talk about Superman if there's good Superman stuff. So we'll see. Tuesday night, I'm going to the Captain America Brave New World premiere. I'm very, very excited for that. And as soon as I walk out, I will record my reaction. I'm going to keep it short, spoiler-free. That's going to be on the YouTube channel. That won't be on audio platforms. And then the next day on that on the regular Phase Hero show, we'll talk about reviews. Huge thanks to Disney and Marvel for having me at the premiere. Tremendously grateful. I think that's going to be awesome. I hope I run into Anthony Mackie and do the thing. But Wednesday will be normal time, 2 p.m. Eastern time live, and then on all major podcast platforms as soon as I can get the audio uploaded. Friday morning, this won't be live, but we will have an interview posted with Captain America Brave New World director Julius Ona on the channel. So that's going to be really awesome. And Friday night, spend your Valentine's Day with your Phase Hero Valentines. Captain America 4 review with spoilers. We're going to do that Friday night. I think we said 9 p.m. Eastern time, right, guys? Was that what we said?
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It'll be the three of us. I'm working on getting like a celebrity guest reviewer. I want to get somebody to join us because Jamie's not going to be able to join us that day. I've texted a few people, seeing if anybody wants to join. The first one to say yes is in, and then I'll have to tell, when Beyonce says I'm in, but Cam Hayward said yes first, I'm going to have to be like, sorry, Grammy winner. No, but I did not text Beyonce. That's not true. That'd be cool. So Friday night. So it's a lot of Phase Hero coming up, and then Daredevil's right around the corner. And thank you to Marvel and Disney for working with us. Thank you for everybody who's listening and buying merch and giving us time, giving us positive comments, all that stuff. A lot of fun stuff coming to Phase Hero. Of everything coming up, Jenna, anything particular, whether it's Phase Hero or otherwise, that you're looking forward to?
I mean, this is just such a cool era to be in, just to be able to talk about all of this stuff. And like the chat was already saying before we even went live of like being excited for the blockbusters we're going to get in July is exciting in and of itself. And I know there's going to be more trailers for stuff and more production updates for stuff. Like everything is exciting.
So Aaron, what are you feeling right now?
I mean, there is like a weird sea change. Like I feel like it's all based on audience response, which is very funny because we could have picked ourselves up at any time, but hey, better late than never. Good. Hi. Hello from Portugal. Dear goodness. Where in the world, man? We need a map. Brandon, we need a map with push pins where everybody comes from.
Jenna and I have access to the store, the Phase Hero store, like the back end of phasehero.com, and we can see where things are shipping. They're going like all over the world.
It's
honestly it's insane. So thank you guys for that. It's hugely encouraging. It also makes me feel like we have to keep doing this now. We can't stop now. People spend money on this show. We got to keep doing this. We're locked in. Roscoe said, so happy that the live show timing means we can watch live from across the pond in Scotland.
Wow.
I'll spare the Scottish accent. No, I won't. All right.
I'm sorry about Drew, Roscoe. I'm sorry about Drew.
What do you think, real quick? We won't waste too much time on the not for the non-wrestling fans. You think Drew was supposed to go out right there at the Rumble?
It doesn't sound like it from all the raging backstage, does it? I don't know who he's mad at. I'm like, I would not want Drew McIntyre being mad at you. Is like a step under like Kendrick Lamar being angry at you. So I don't know what they did. I'd avoid that.
Drew lives like 20 minutes from me, and I'm always like, I don't want to run into that man by accident. Oh God, he's a big boy. I feel like, who knows? Maybe there's a Phase Hero Wrestling spinoff in the future. Maybe. That'd be fun.
Maybe.
All right, we got a lot to talk about, though. We've blabbed. We've done a lot of housekeeping notes and thank yous and all that. We just love this. We love this community. Phase Hero is global. Brandon Moore, you are right in the comment section when you say that. Yeah. Wait. All right, Jenna, you and I were talking before the show started, and I found this to be really interesting. So I'll let you tee up this conversation.
Yeah, so we were talking about the FF trailer. We were talking about getting a good night of sleep last night after being up so early on Tuesday morning for that trailer. I personally think that these YouTube trailer releases are the way that we should be going from this point onward. Obviously, Superman did it first a couple of months ago. Obviously, like other studios and other movies have had a similar sort of strategy. But like, I think having one landing page that everyone can go to, as opposed to like, let me refresh YouTube, let me refresh Twitter, let me refresh Instagram. Like, it was so nice to have everyone collectively be there, even as we were waiting an extra hour than we thought we would be. So I hope like when we get to Doomsday and Secret Wars and all of these really huge projects, I hope that they do something similar, because like it was such a cool way to have a collective moment while we're all just sitting on a YouTube page at the same time.
It's so funny to have all of that like awesome, ridiculous audio in the background. Was making me sleepy, but I did page around to see, and it really did feel like everyone was in the same place, because they had it going live on Instagram too. And there was like solid 20,000 people just watching the footage and being like, what's going on IG? And I'm like, this is like, Brandon and we all talk about like the loss of monoculture. You get little whiffs, little monoculture crumbs.
Yeah.
It only can be good.
It just like moments like these, it just feels good to be a fan of stuff again. Like Fantastic Four, Superman, Jurassic, all releasing in July. I feel like people are actually excited about stuff. And it's like, there's also people who suck and they're, detractors for stuff like that. It's okay to not like stuff, but being a dick is not okay. But Fantastic Four, like that hour-long countdown, yes, I was like, damn, y'all really woke me up for this hour-long countdown. They didn't wake me up. I woke myself up thinking we were getting a trailer. I played myself. But it was like getting on Twitter was fun, because it was early enough that the curmudgeons were still sleeping. And the only people tweeting were the people excited for the trailer. And it was just like a fun moment where we were all like, oh my God, this guy. And then when the countdown reset, the comment sections and everything went nuts for there was like a little bit of an error at the end.
Yeah.
And it was cool. It was just a fun moment. And Superman had a hell of a trailer launch too. They went all out. I'd say Superman went above this, like in terms of effort and spending and all that to launch the trailer. Because they had a whole event that on the Warner Brothers lot and all that. They let a whole bunch of people talk to the cats. Whereas Marvel had them go down to Alabama and do this thing at the Space Museum. It was cool. I thought it was awesome. Now that it's done and I'm not angry about being awake at 5:30 in the morning, I dig it.
Yeah.
Wow. The Doomsday trailer. How do they do that?
At a reasonable hour, I hope. If you do an event like this, even if it is like an hour countdown and you build excitement, you get people ready on a landing page for something. If you do that at like primetime hour, everyone will be there. Like that will be a monocultural event. And like that trailer and that movie, and knowing like how much stock they're putting into that movie, it deserves something like that.
They ain't gonna have that at no 7 a.m. They ain't about to have that at no 7 a.m. You need to have that in prime time so you can have that captive audience.
Yeah.
How long until they start just projecting these movies on the moon?
Like the Hunger Games canon, just like projecting in the sky.
When are we just going to watch a trailer collectively all looking at the same screen, the moon? Go at 11 p.m. It's got to be like 1 a.m. Eastern time, so it's dark on the West Coast. Look at the moon. That'd be wild. Hey, I just gave away a good idea for free. I mean, it's the Hancock joke, though. The moon became an advertisement. All right. What's our next topic here?
I have an FF theory before we get to Jurassic. I was so bummed. I posted my trailer reaction video to everyone who's been watching that. It is performing really well over on my channel. But then I literally exported it and I had it uploading, and then I realized something else. And I was like, I have nowhere to talk about this. This bums me out. So the shot where it's the four of them and they're looking up in the sky looks like it's on fire. That could be the Watcher, because in the comics, when Galactus and the Watcher show up for the first time, the Watcher intervenes, even though he knows he really shouldn't be doing this. And this is maybe like not even 10 issues into his like first appearance. So he only has so much lore built upon himself, but he was like, I'm not supposed to intervene, but I didn't want Silver Surfer to immediately doom your planet. So I created fire in the sky to distract Silver Surfer. And that helped delay things to get the FF to kind of have a fighting chance against Surfer and Galactus. I would not be surprised if that is what we're seeing in this trailer.
Fantastic Four number 48, by the way.
Yes.
Good call. Also, the Watcher interferes with the Red Ghost Ivan Kragoff story too. So yeah, I really like your theory. I was actually going to make a TikTok about this because I was like, I want to talk about this. I thought of that, and I think the shot where Johnny jumps off the balcony and starts flying, it's much later in the trailer. I think that is directly after that shot of the sky the fire in the sky.
Yeah. I just want to see Jeffrey Wright with like the big gigantic CGI head. Like I want to see how they would render that in the aesthetic of this movie. So like selfishly, I want to be right, but also thematically, and like you said, if this is Red Ghost in the movie, and like there are a lot of reasons for Watcher to intervene and be in this movie in some way.
I like that theory a lot. So does Roscoe in the comment section. Is it like the Watcher post season 3 of What If? So he's all souped up and whatnot? Or is it, we'll see. But the fact they're doing Galactus justice in this movie, Watcher's totally possible. You know what I mean? They're embracing it, and the thing looks great. All right, let's talk. Oh, go ahead.
Captain Ginger in the comments. I never thought about that. You could be right. There could be something to that.
So he's with Captain Ginger just joined. So don't know if it was mentioned, but we all agree that Human Torch is chasing Silver Surfer between the buildings, right?
Oh.
We all know Marvel is making things disappear. Mm-hmm. I can see it. I can see it.
Because also, like, speaking of making things disappear, the shot of Reed where he's at the big chalkboard, people are theorizing that ultimately at the end version of that shot, his arm's going to be stretched across and like writing on the other side. And like, we just haven't seen that yet because the VFX aren't ready. So like, I think they are hiding quite a lot in this trailer. Not on the level of like the 3 Spider-Men and they're kicking something that doesn't really exist yet. But like, I think there's stuff that we're not seeing on purpose.
That was John Cena.
I saw a theory. Obviously, a lot of us just assume maybe it's because VFX aren't done. I like that theory that shot of him on the chalkboard, his left arm will be stretched out. But I also saw a theory. Somebody said this to somebody commented on one of my Instagram posts, and they said maybe they're going like Reed doesn't have his powers yet, and that's why in the trailer he doesn't use them. And when they go on this second mission, that's when Reed gets his powers. I could see that being the case. I don't know if people are going to be happy if there's a movie where 3 of them have powers and then they go back to space and Reed gets them too. But maybe I could see it because
I don't know. I don't think they're really going to do that. Like I said, I think it's a VFX thing. And I also think thematically, they're really leaning into the idea of like, he feels guilty and responsible for everyone else getting their powers and being kind of doomed in a different way by what they now can do. And I think we're really, really leaning into that in this trailer and having that be the focus. And like, he's not about to just use his powers in these big flashy ways if he himself feels insecure about everyone having powers to begin with.
Yeah, that's fair. I dig it. Oh boy. Fantastic Four, too many days away. July is going to be insane. And the next look at July is right here because Jurassic released its trailer. Wait, I got to pause this before YouTube strikes us. I really liked this Jurassic World Rebirth trailer quite a bit. I think that obviously opening with like the banner falling as the little homage and all that, that's cool. But I think the idea of this movie is pretty solid. And first, before anything else, I'm a Gareth Edwards fan. I'm a big Gareth Edwards fan. The creator is great. I feel like Gareth Edwards hasn't missed, and he has this ability to take these big sci-fi concepts and make them feel like you can like tangible and realistic. And I mean, Rogue One, creator, Godzilla, he's done it in all of those. So that's my number one. Is that? Are you guys fired up for Jurassic? Sorry, I didn't realize I'm on a pause screen here. I'm on a black screen.
I loved
any
Rogue
takeaways?
One. So I have yet to watch The Creator, but I'm definitely going to before this comes out. Like I'm very on board. Kong Skull Island is like my favorite of the MonsterVerse movies, and this is absolutely giving that sort of vibe within Jurassic. So I'm here. Like it looks like a lot of fun.
It's so interesting because like I feel like Gareth has trained his entire life to make a Jurassic Park movie. Like that's what he really, really wants to do. So to see him get to go all out in this sandbox, and for rightfully, I feel like this universe is so big. There's so many weird possibilities. The fact that no one has thought of this exact conceit before just shows you how far it can still go. Because we were all like, well, what else can they really do? And I'm like, quite a lot. There's always dinosaurs. And if you get bored, there's the break a case of glass with Vin. That's what I'm waiting for. Can't wait.
I think well, first, C Black, we gotta go back 1 second. Thank you for $2 comment. C Black, rumor is Sue gives birth to Franklin in space. I have no idea, but if that is some sort of rumor about the plot, I will say, please just don't drop plot rumors or spoilers in the chat. We try to steer clear of that kind of stuff. We'll speculate based on footage. We'll speculate and theorize based on quotes from interviews. But anything that like you're hearing, if it's a plot type thing, we'll just try to avoid that stuff on the show, because I don't like to just have a plot point scooped. I don't think that's a scoop. I think that spoilers are, we don't need them.
A lot of people in the chat are asking what the heck is that in this containment unit, and I was like, do you think Fede Alvarez or like Gareth like trade notes?
No, I thought the same thing. I thought this looked like a Alien Romulus type of thing. But so
I'm sure there's some scientific like lore behind it, but I do just love how ugly it looks. Like the merch for this movie is going to be wild, especially if this is part of it, of like the little action figures with just that weird nose. I'm going to be very delighted by that.
What was the name of the dinosaur that y'all used to joke around about? Is it Shibo?
Squonk? The little like cryptid thing. Yeah, there's so many. Yeah. It definitely looks like a cryptid that just got lost somewhere, which is on brand for dinosaur stuff like this.
At this interview with Vanity Fair, the producer Frank Marshall said they want to make the movie really scary. They want to make a really scary Jurassic, and as revealed in the trailer as well. They talked about how this is the like leftovers of the original Jurassic Park that are mutated now, and all this kind of stuff that didn't work and survived. And what Gareth Edwards said, Jurassic Park is a horror film in the witness protection program. Most people don't think of it like that. We all went to see it as kids, but I was scared shitless, to be honest, when I was at the cinema watching the T-Rex attack. It's one of the most well-directed scenes in cinema history, so the bar is really high to come on board and try to do this. And I really like this quote from Gareth and what they're trying to do with Jurassic here. I think he's right. I remember as a kid watching that T-Rex scene, that eyeball, scared the crap out of me. I thought dinosaurs were just going to show up at my grandma's house. I was like, what is going to happen? And I think that Gareth is the right guy for this. I remember when Gareth was discussed as Thor 5 director. I was like, this would be amazing. He's doing Jurassic. That's got me fired up for Jurassic. And this trailer, to me, shows that what they said in that interview is true. Obviously, they're not going to lie about it, what they're trying to do. But this mutated dinosaur right here looks scary. It looks scary. This, to me, is what the Jurassic World franchise should have been when it restarted in the first place.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
I mean, this is like pre-Jurassic Park story ties. I feel like if you started with this, 2015 when first Jurassic World came out, was it? 2016 maybe? This would have been an interesting new direction that ties you back to the beginning in a really sensible way that continues the story. And the Jurassic World movies were fine. It's cool dinos and stuff. Like, they weren't great. They were okay. This looks really good. This sounds good. That's all I got.
I'm just happy to see Jonathan Bailey. Like, between this and Wicked, it will be great to see him on an IMAX screen so many times this year. Like, very happy about that.
Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey. This cast is stacked.
Mm-hmm.
This movie's going to be good. This movie's going to be good. Ooh, this is going to be good. All right, what's next? What do we got? I got to look at the rundown here.
We got Chris Evans yapping his yap.
Oh, Chris Evans. Oh, you freaking liars. So, obviously there was the report that Chris Evans was coming back for Avengers Doomsday. I'm pretty sure the Wrap broke that. I believe them. Chris Evans, in an interview with Vanity Fair, as like a supplemental line of dialogue to an Anthony Mackie interview promoting Captain America Brave New World, said he is not returning as Captain America, not returning to the MCU. Said, nope, happily retired. Now, could be telling the truth. I didn't hear how the question was worded. So maybe they asked him, are you coming back as Captain America? And I do believe Chris Evans is doing the right thing on every step of this by saying, no, I'm not coming back as Captain America, while Anthony Mackie is trying to solidify his claim to that mantle. If he comes back in Doomsday, it might not be as Captain America. Might be Nomad, might be a villain. Who knows? But he said he's happily retired. Do we believe it? Is he coming back?
I think we've talked about this before. It is so fascinating now that Downey as Doom is confirmed to just be in this completely uncharted territory with these two movies. I remember for years worrying when we would get to this point of like the casting speculation, the Tobey Maguire, Hugh Jackman, all of these people that people want in here, like it's just going to be insufferable dealing with it. But I feel like now that we've brought Downey back as a different character, all bets are off. Any rumor, any speculation, any confirmation denial all works. And it just like adds more confusion to what we're dealing with. I feel like he's going to be in the movie. Maybe the ink hasn't fully dried yet. Maybe they're just purposefully keeping the secrets. And that's why he's saying he's happily retired. But I still am adamant on the show. Like, we're going to get the original six back because it's kind of like the last opportunity to do it.
Mm-hmm. Prophet?
I don't think that I've been on the train that they were all coming back regardless. Whatever shape these two movies were going to take, this was always probably a part of the plan. If anything, the Russo brothers made it easier to bring all of them back. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And after a bunch of different reveals kind of been squashed or trodden on by the internet, they're trying to do their best to keep the horses in the barn before they can wheel them all out on a D23 or a Comic-Con stage and get the loud pop. Because even though, thank goodness that none of us knew about Robert Downey Jr., can you imagine how thunderous it would have been had the Russos walked out and no one had any idea if that Heat Vision hadn't come out on that Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine?
Even then, Downey was like a tinfoil hat rumor. Like there were websites that were saying it could happen, but it was one of those things of like, this is too crazy to potentially be real, and then it was real. So yeah, I agree with you. Like the rumor mill is a huge part of this. Before
the Downey announcement, I had a friend text me and say, my Uber driver said said Robert Downey Jr. is in town, and I was like, this is no, you're not. I said to myself, please don't be one of those people on Twitter peddling this random conspiracy theory BS. Like, you're telling me that your Uber driver, you are the person we talk about on Twitter. And they were right, though. They were right. Downey, the Uber driver, knew their stuff out there in San Diego.
BD really found someone whose uncle worked at Nintendo. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Evans is in that movie for sure. I mean, I think they're all back. I think there's no doubt. What's this?
Well, Aaron, you have a theory about that, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Anthony Mackie's delightful GQ profile where they just drive around Louisiana eating seafood, which I'm just like, hey, Marvel, if you want to have all of us drive around Louisiana with Anthony Mackie eating seafood, I'm not going to turn it down at all. He like jokingly said, he's like, I talked to Chris and he said, I'm happily retired. And then literally when approached for comment about the comment, he literally says the same thing that Mackie like joked about hours beforehand. That seems sketchy to me. Yeah. And see, I thought we were headed here before, guys, but that story's been a little weird. Some of the fan bases are going to like that.
Yeah, I do not think this is the time for Hydra Cap. I would rather him be Nomad or President Steve Rogers or something else. I feel like the optics of it, there's a lot of reasons to not do Hydra Cap.
I don't think that. I think if they do Hydra Cap, it'll be a quick alternate universe thing.
Mm-hmm.
He gets murdered by another version of Chris Evans quickly.
Please.
Look straight to camera.
Benedict Cumberbatch, also a liar. He now says he is.
Is it lying or is he confused? Because I think he's just confused.
I think at this point, we're all a little confused. But we got the spirit. Cumberbatch says he is in Avengers Doomsday after we did a whole podcast saying he's not in Avengers Doomsday because he said he's not in Avengers Doomsday. He said to Business Insider, I got that wrong. I am the next one. Don't ever believe anything I say. Benedict Cumberbatch is one voice I will not try to impersonate ever. But if he's saying don't ever believe anything I say, do we believe this? Do we believe the old thing? Do we believe nothing? What do we make of this? Yeah, I think it makes sense. Doctor Strange is in Doomsday, obviously.
I just want to see like the text he got from Kevin Feige after that first quote came out of like, what are you talking about? You are in the movie. Like, again, like I said, just the confusion being the prevailing emotion around both of these movies being in production. I almost hope we have that confusion as filming starts, as post-production starts. I hope we know nothing so that once we actually can see the movies, they just are able to stand on their own and not have every single Twitter rumor spoiling things already.
Mm-hmm. We got a super comment here we got to read. Tony said, it's good to see you guys. No theories this week, but currently obsessed with Time Runs Out. That's a good book. If Doomsday used it, the film could be the highest grossing epic disaster movie of all time, even surpassing Titanic, Deadpool, Wolverine, and Endgame. I don't know that there's really anything Doomsday can do to top Endgame. Mm-hmm. I think Endgame is more than its story itself. It's just the product of the stars aligning in a franchise where the stars just kept aligning. And, and it was the first time anything like that ever happened. And not being the first time makes that really difficult to recreate. So, all right, let's all have a moment of silence before this next one. Everybody just...
Sony removed a summer 2025 Marvel movie from its release schedule. I was shocked this even became news because if they had a movie in production, it would be a different thing, but there's not even anything that this could have been. I feel like this was a placeholder date for Spider-Man 4 or Spider-Verse 3, and then ultimately neither of those movies are even remotely ready, so this date just got pulled from the calendar.
Do not underestimate Sony's ability to put a movie out that they made in 3 weeks.
I would go see that immediately. I would just purely for the guerrilla filmmaking of it all. If they were able to get a movie ready for this summer, I would just be like, what the hell? Sure, I'll go see it. But then you have the box office numbers in here. Craven made 59 million worldwide. Madam Web made 100.5 million. Morbius made 167.5 million. Venom 3 made 478 million. I feel so vindicated as a Birds of Prey fan to know that Craven made a lot less money. That is very personally vindicating because I remember at the time that Birds of Prey came out, everyone was like, this is such a flop. This is one of the lowest performing movies ever. And now that we've gotten past the $1 billion club of 2019, I feel like people are recalibrating their expectations. But it is still wild to see Craven made that amount of money. Definitely.
Craven flopped way, way harder than Birds of Prey without having a bad title that doesn't fit on a ticket. And a pandemic around the corner. My goodness.
It was only in theaters for 2 weeks before everything shut down.
Yeah, it still made more money than Craven.
Yeah, crazy.
The chat is just mourning El Muerto and Hypno Hustler.
Hypno Hustler, yeah.
We never knew ye.
All right, everybody, wait here. Let's hold hands. Let's hold hands and remember the what was.
Didn't they say that it's not over? They just aren't making movies right now? Like, we're not...
I was just getting through my mourning period. I can only grieve so many times. All right. Cholo Maraduena, Blue Beetle himself, Cobra Kai star, was at the Saturn Awards. Our friends at that hashtag show caught up with him. And I've been doing a little bit of work with that hashtag show, helping oversee their content, helping with some of the stuff that they've got going on. You might see me a little bit more over there. And for that reason, we're able to pull this video up and just hear what Cholo had to say about a couple things regarding Nova and Blue Beetle.
That you're going to be able to continue to play the character.
I mean, I think it's a testament to our writer and director, Gareth and Angel. Like, I saw them every single day fight for that movie and fight for what that movie ended up being, and I'm so proud of it. It is one of the proudest one of the proudest moments I have in my life to get to bring that type of story to the big screen. So I'm just hoping that we come back sooner than later, because it looks like they're having a lot of fun over there.
There's also some little word, maybe playing Nova over at Marvel.
I mean, that would be cool too. Whatever. I mean, look, yeah, that'd be great. Shit, I'm ready for whatever work has come my way, bro. I'll hit up some push-ups. Whoever wants me to do some push-ups, I'm ready for you, bro.
I sent Manny the Nova question. I'm not gonna lie, via Junior. That was. I don't think he's based on that answer. I don't think he's playing Nova.
I feel like because the rumor was he would be playing Sam, obviously. I almost feel like they're gonna go completely with an unknown for Sam, like somebody who is a lot younger. But if they were going within that age range, I could definitely see him doing it. But again, that concurrently happening while he's talking about coming back as Beetle, I feel like Beetle's gonna be the priority.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think it'd be hard to do a hero in both those franchises for sure.
Yeah.
Even like I don't think Blue Beetle's going to be like this character that's going to be on screen every year by any stretch, but they're both superheroes in major franchises. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
My buddy needs to start selling pre-workout. That's a lot of push-ups. Like both of them at the same time, you're gonna be in wild shape.
Yeah.
Are you telling Charlotte he needs to beef up?
If he gonna do both of them, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's no. I'm just messing. I'm all for the. I am all for the superhero physique. But I don't care who the actor is. If you're playing a superhero who looks like that Superman statue or anything like it in comics, I'm all for getting in crazy shape to play that part. I think it just makes the whole thing even better. Because anyway, so Blue Beetle though. I mean, we knew he's coming back. The animated series is interesting. Then there's a little bit of an update. But what were you gonna say?
Yeah, so I mean, they haven't officially like announced this, like from James Gunn's like social media or any official conference. Like there is still, it's just been heavily rumored, heavily talked about, and based on his comments, it sounds like it's further along than we even thought it is.
Yeah, he said to our friend Russ Milheim, who's over at the Direct, this is the quote: We're hitting hard this animated project, hoping to get this settled out this year to show everyone next year. So, I mean, that is, to me, that's confirmation. Like that is the, now it's finally somebody involved has said they're doing it. But Angel, who directed Blue Beetle, didn't he just sign on for a new movie for something else? Didn't I just see his name in the news? Let me look.
But even then, if it's an
Jack
animated
Ryan.
project, oh, that's right, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Or was
Even
it just
then.
no? Jack Ryan scribe Aaron Raven.
Oh, okay.
Right, Just Cause video game adaptation. Oh, this website doesn't work for me. But yeah, he is directing the Just Cause, the video game movie adaptation, which that's cool, man. Good for Just Cause.
Yeah.
I like him. He's a really cool dude. I've had the pleasure of speaking with him a few times. Yeah, so that's pretty much all of our news for the week, huh? Is there anything else? Should we just do a scroll through the feed to make sure we didn't miss anything? Figs here, Twitter.
I feel like
feed.
the gears are turning with Aaron.
Nate.
Oh.
If you were talking about, name more the comments about Black Panther.
Go.
Oh.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing I think of.
What do you got? What's going on?
Talking to Fred Chris Killian of asking about recasting T'Challa and them approaching and sort of like how they decided to tackle that. Nate was pretty forthcoming. Shout out to him. He's like, actually, he kind of works for Marvel now. He's not on the council anymore, right? After Brave New World, he's coming back for Black Panther 3, but like he's not like working every day at Marvel Studios anymore. Is that correct, Jenna?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's told them the truth is there's no truth to those rumors about recasting ahead of Secret Wars or whatever. We never say never to anything. We really haven't had a lot of creative conversations with Ryan Coogler yet because he's finishing his film Sinners, which comes out this year. Yes, it does. We'll get into this later this year, but everything you read online is not true if for no other reason that we just haven't started working on it. I'm sure Wakanda will have an opinion about the arrival of Adamantium, and I'm sure Wakanda has an opinion on Sam Wilson as Captain America. Clearly, they seem to support him as they've given him some technology to help him out. So he's like, that was your Wakanda update from Nate Moore. In essence, go watch the cool vampire movie and go watch Captain America. We'll deal with all that later.
I mean, I still think young T'Challa obviously is going to be the future. I don't think the version of T'Challa that Chadwick played is ever going to be recast. Like, they're not going to revive him.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to bring T'Challa back after that opening scene of Wakanda Forever, but I do think there will be a T'Challa going forward. And I mean, if you call that a recast, I think that's inaccurate. It's technically a new character. So, but also I also see somebody in the comments pointed out that Nate Moore also addressed the Denzel stuff. So I think that quote was the same thing. Very similar.
He laughed and was like, "We don't have like the script nailed down yet. We're trying to figure out how to fit him in there." And which is, by the way, is playing ball because Denzel said that they sent him something, so something exists. It might not be a whole script, but he's seen some piece of information. And I mean, Denzel is going to. I hope he. Are we going to have another Alpha Molina, Patty LuPone memorial entrant to you can't say anything, you can't tell Denzel Washington what to do, he's just going to say what he wants to?
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't, you're not telling Denzel not to say something.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? Like Denzel made, as Layla pointed out, Denzel made the royalty in England wait. That Gladiator 2 premiere.
The chat also has questions about the Superman lawsuit, and I can totally touch on that because people are wondering what that means. Because it came out like late last week that the estate of Joe Shuster, who co-created Superman way back in the Golden Age, is suing Warner Brothers basically for a share of the profits of recent things that Superman has appeared in, and so that includes like the Snyder Cut and Black Adam and Shazam. The headline of the lawsuit is basically like, oh, theoretically this would block the movie from coming out in certain territories of like Canada, Mexico, and the like. I get people panicking, but this is something that has happened before. They did this before Man of Steel came out. They've done this with other adaptations of Superman. It is just ensuring that they are getting adequately compensated for the presence of Superman and how much money it's going to be making Warner Brothers. So we'll see. Like, the movie's still a long ways away, but this is something that has happened before. And honestly, they're definitely in the right for trying to get money, given how popular the character has been.
Yeah, and Superman is still coming in July.
Yeah,
I think people. It's I think this isn't, like you said, it's not the first time this has happened. This is quite the comment. Superman. Wow, what a comment, Devil Spawn. Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well, Roscoe with the comment to send us into our perfect segue for the rest of today's show. If you guys have questions, drop them. Maybe at the end of the show we can do like some Q&A or something. Maybe we'll just make that an entire episode. Maybe once a month, hop on, just do like a Q&A, whatever.
Yeah.
But right now, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is so good. Sounds Roscoe. Brandon Moore says, love the first 2 episodes of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Need to watch this week's episodes. Well, if you need to watch this week's episodes, now's the time, because we're about to talk about them. We're about to talk about your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man with spoilers. We got all our talking points here. Overall, episodes 3 through 5 available now. Quite good. Spoilers start now. Jenna, what do you think?
I just love this show so much. I think like it is just a labor of love and just of the understanding of how to translate comics into the world of animation. It is just doing some really, really fun things. And the character work is so fun and so compelling in ways I wasn't prepared for. I did not expect to love Lonnie Lincoln as much as I am, but especially in these episodes, like he is just such a compelling character.
Aaron, what do you think of these new episodes?
I never thought I'd see such a focus on Lonnie Lincoln in my life. It's wild to see the care paid attention to all of these people in Peter's orbit is really fascinating and like interesting to see. I know a lot of the discourse around the show before it came out was based on why aren't you rebooting these other more popular or continuing these other more popular animated series, but Jeff and them were proving here in the early run that this version of Spider-Man, this version of Peter Parker has got the goods. It's really, really encouraging. Also, Coleman Domingo.
Yeah.
Coleman Domingo.
Coleman the GOAT. I mean, these episodes from Lonnie Lincoln is really the character of these 3 episodes that seems to have the biggest sort of arc or like beginning of an arc. And it's a sad arc. It's a tough arc to watch. And it's one that like, damn, you understand what's happening fully, which makes it even harder. It's seemingly these 3 episodes end with him embracing that he is a member of the 110th Street Gang now. So I have a whole bunch of Easter eggs. I'll talk through these. If there's a part of the episodes you guys want to talk about when I go through these Easter eggs and everything, please just cut me off, yell at me, whatever. Because I'm just going to read through these. These are just the notes I wrote down during the episodes, and I like to run through as many Easter eggs and explain the comic stuff as we can. So the episodes start. I really liked how Peter Parker talked about maybe someone else should have gotten his powers. I think that those moments explain that this show is made by people who understand Spider-Man because he just genuinely wants to see the best things happen for people. and he doesn't know that he can use the powers as best anybody could. So he's like, maybe there's somebody better than me who could have done this if it wasn't me. That's just those small moments go a long way in building a character.
Yeah.
He emphasizes that Norman can't tell Aunt May. That's the same thing Peter Parker tells Tony Stark in the live action MCU version where Tom Holland is the character. This is something random experience of my own that I applied to this. The music in some of these scenes, like the very kind of calm, Marvel-y music, it sounds so much like the remix of the Avengers theme song and different Marvel music that plays at the Marvel Hotel and different parts of like Avengers Campus. And I really dig it. It's just like I went to the Marvel Hotel in Paris a couple years ago. It's one of the best experiences of my life. It was so cool. And they have this really just this great music playing all hours of the day. And it's just this very calm Marvel remixes that are like, dun, 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 dun. I don't know. And this song, just this show kind of uses that sort of tone. The Lonnie Lincoln stuff, he wants to take another subtle character moment is the stuff in the cafeteria when he wants to take care of his friends and his card declines and he doesn't have the money, so he doesn't eat. That was, I thought, like a very obvious attempt at making a character selfless, but it just works so far.
I mean, that scene's incredible. Like everyone either knew that kid or felt shades of being that kid growing up, and just like seeing it with a character who we know in the comics as just this very tragic one note sort of villain is just really, really compelling and an interesting way to frame this whole show.
Yeah. What else we got here? The 110th Street Gang in the comics is led by Lonnie Lincoln as Tombstone. So clearly we're on our way to that, it would seem. I'm sitting here like, can they change the source material? Because I don't want this kid to go bad. Oh, I want to see this kid go bad. But if you read the comics, you know where this goes. His name is Tombstone in the books. And he's, Lonnie saves Big Don, who is Big E, by the way. Got to break that news. Big E, WWE superstar. New Day could never. Kofi and Xavier could never. But when he saved Big Don, that's a moment where I was just like, he's got such a big heart, but he's just using it on the wrong people. You know? I get like it's a good move, save your guy, right? 100%, that's what you got to do. But
absolutely,
yeah. I have this comment from Ryan: the face-off between Spider-Man and Tombstone is going to hurt. We had Maria Vasquez and James Sanders, aka Tarantula, and Speed Demon. Jen, anything about them we should know?
So Maria is actually the 5th Tarantula. Like that mantle has been used by a lot of people over the years, and she's really kind of in more of a heroic context. Like she joins the Heroes for Hire. She's with like Luke Cage, Misty Knight, that whole sort of group. Speed Demon is really interesting because he actually was created as part of the Squadron Sinister, which was the precursor to the Squadron Supreme, and he was basically Marvel very like obviously trying to parody the Flash in like the 60s and 70s. So now it's fun to get to this point of him now being in animation very briefly as his own character, because he started out as this kind of pastiche. But they're not really associated with each other in the comics. It's kind of cool to have them be this like Bonnie and Clyde sort of romance. So I liked those scenes, and especially the fight scenes.
I love the animation and the fight scenes. I that Matrix reference. Fun stuff. The animation just it works. I think this animation works best when it's in an action scene, to be honest with you. The talking scenes, the animation is whatever, but I like it looks good. It really lends itself to these action sequences. There's an action sequence in next week's episodes that I think people are gonna geek out over. We had Civil War references, a lot of actually MCU storyline references in these episodes. Norman is seen standing with T'Chaka. T'Chaka looks similar to what he looks like in the live-action MCU, who presumably just died in this world. We're not seeing that on the news, but the events that kick off Civil War see T'Chaka get killed. Norman references Ultron, and he says, Iron Man and Hulk are a gamma incident away from destroying a city or a country shutting down, or destroying a country trying to shut down their mad AI, which that's the Ultron reference. The gamma accident involving Tony is interesting, but I think that's just a Hulk callback, right? I mean, obviously. There's also references to the Battle of New York from the first Avengers movie when Peter says, when they stopped that alien invasion. This is starting to feel like the Netflix shows how they sometimes won't explicitly name the thing, but they'll reference it. The big green guy, the guy with the hammer, suit of armor or suit of metal suit, whatever. But obviously we saw Captain America on the wall and different things like that directly. But those moments remind me of when the Netflix shows wouldn't name the heroes or the specific events. Ant-Man is seen grabbing War Machine on the news. So did Cap win in Germany? Since Spider-Man never showed up? Well, Cap kind of already did win in Germany, really.
It would be funny if like not having Peter involved at all completely changed the outcome of that fight and then the rest of the movie. I almost like want them to lean into that even further because it would just be a cool like what if AU thing that we're not necessarily going to get in the main what if. Sure, I'm just going to assume that he did.
Because how did that fight ended with Vision knocking Rhodey out of the sky?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess and Bucky escapes. Yeah, I guess, yeah, or everybody, yeah. Well, might not have changed things too much. Might have just expedited the process. Harry finds out that Peter is Spider-Man, becomes the dude at the desk, aka the guy in the chair, which is a reference to Ned Leeds in the live action stuff. The spider suit designs, Jenna, I know there's some spider suit designs that had to mean something to you. Obviously, we end with Future Foundation, but these were also just kind of fun.
They were like there isn't a huge comic precedent for a lot of them, especially because they really lean into the gimmick of like now you have wings, now you have all of this sort of stuff. But it's fun to see them translated into this animation style, and I'm glad that now people know where the Future Foundation-y suit came from. Because I remember when the trailer came out, people were like, "How is he getting that when the Fantastic Four have nothing to do with the show?" It's like it just looks like that suit. It just is that color scheme, but it has a different purpose within this world.
I'm going to.
Aren't all the suits from Identity Crisis? Like, isn't that the gag? Is that they're all like the Identity Crisis suits from when he's like on the run and has to have different identities? And I was laughing like, they couldn't have told me in like high school that freaking the Dusk suit on Spider-Man in an official Marvel thing in animation sounds something nuts.
I love when he terrifies the little girl. Like that is a very embarrassing and delightful scene.
Go. There's a few different Spider-Man suits. Yeah, you got the wings.
But they just take them even further with the color schemes and the gimmicks that we see in this episode. But it like Aaron said, it's cool to see them, but they're really just in this storyline. Like they don't have huge histories beyond it.
Oh yeah.
Right. What else we got here? That's the wrong. Matt Gargan and Camilla Black have both gone by Scorpion in Marvel Comics. Very different versions of the character, though.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Gargan, obviously, like Scorpion. There's the part where Big Don says, "I missed the part where that was my problem." And if that sounds familiar to you, that's because you watched Tobey Maguire play Spider-Man and say those exact words in the past. Nico referenced her foster parents in these episodes. We saw a picture, presumably, of her real parents. That's like her real parents obviously have all sorts of comics ties. And Nico's, would you call it superpowered, lifestyle or connection? Jenna has a theory about this.
Yeah, so I'll touch on the foster parent of it all. I mean, obviously, in the comics, Nico is part of the Runaways, and they definitely bounce in and out of the foster system at certain ages. So it's not unprecedented that she would have foster parents, and especially given the situation. But then they revealed in the tie-in comic already that the foster parents have the last name O'Hara, and Miguel O'Hara also. Spider-Man 2099. So it would be interesting if somehow there's some sort of connection with that, of like if that's another one of the siblings, or if this is just like his, ancestors and he's still in the 2099 timeline. Like it's just a cool little tie.
Miguel O'Hara would be wild to see become a factor in this. Oh man. All right, real quick. We got a few more things here. I mean, we had Chameleon, Rhino's father, Mikhail Sistovich. We had Unicorn, and there's a Tracksuit Mafia reference. So obviously the group from Hawkeye. And Harry in one photo is chilling with Luna Snow.
Mm-hmm.
Time to put on a show. If you get that reference, you have also been annoyed that your ult probably just got shut down. And if you didn't, you have no idea what I said after getting that reference. So yeah, I mean, overall, these episodes are very good. To me, this is the point where Lonnie now is joining the 110th Street Gang at the end of these episodes. the second half of this show is when it really hits a stride for me. Like I think this first half is very good. This is really establishing these characters, especially Peter and Lonnie. I think they're the two main characters of this show, and then Norman, of course, and Harry. But I think those two are the ones that are going in tandem. One ascending into accepting a hero role, and the other, unfortunately, descending into like the gang role, but still maintaining the heart of who he is. And that makes it really just gets you invested. In the writing on this show is just brilliant. But anything else about Spider-Man you guys want to talk about real quick?
Like you said, next week's episodes are going to be nuts. Like the fandom is going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Aaron, anything about Spider-Man you want to wrap up with?
It's so hard to talk to people. I can't wait for you guys to see the rest of it. So, like I was talking to the dudes from Mostly Superheroes, and they were like, I'm confused. This feels a little bit. And I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
Patience.
Like we're hyping the back half of this show, but I do believe people are going to be like, oh yeah, y'all were right. It is that good. It is that good. Let me pose a question to the comment section and to you three. We should probably talk about this off the show as well, but I don't think we'll do it with Spider-Man because there's only 2 weeks left. But like when Marvel shows are releasing episodes on Wednesdays, should we just do entirely separate episodes of Phase Hero, or maybe continue the stream but release them as podcasts separately that are just more dedicated to these conversations, and that way you can just click play on an episode of the podcast platform and get a new episode. Or we could just do a separate stream or anything. But I think that episodes more dedicated, like if we said we're doing a news show, that gets one audience. And if we say we're doing a Spider-Man show, that gets a whole other audience that wants to talk about Spider-Man. I think a lot of people, like the viewership has dropped down a little bit since we started this. I saw a lot of people in the comments saying, all right, guys, I haven't watched it yet. I'll see you later. I don't know. It'd be interesting to think about that, especially for like Daredevil coming out.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to do Daredevil episodes on their own.
Yeah. I think if we even just kept it as the same stream, and like people who are caught up and want to join us can just stay on the stream, but then that way we can promote as the spoiler conversation starting, and maybe new people can join in too. Like I think there's definitely value in that.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe like we just keep the stream going and then pop it out as a separate podcast episode. But I don't know. I do think on YouTube as well. I mean, just unfortunately for YouTube, how YouTube works, if we have a separate stream titled, Spider-Man episode, whatever, it'll generate more views because it'll show up when people search it. This episode doesn't even have Spider-Man in the thumbnail, so that's all just stuff we have to consider. Eric has moved the show to Thursdays. We'll do 2 days a week now. Sheesh. We'll see. We'll see about all that. I don't know how much of Phase Heroing we could squeeze out of the group here. But we'll see what happens. And I don't know. We'll figure it out, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But you got to play the algorithm. Christian gets it. We are beholden to the YouTube search engine and the algorithms and all that. We have one question I want to address before we wrap up today's show. I think this will be fun. Roscoe. The chat is speculating on the Fantastic Four Superman Barbenheimer name. You guys fancy giving it a go? Woo!
I like Supertastic. The chat basically suggested that. I think that rolls off the tongue. And then if you want to combine it, it's Supertastic Rebirth, because then you can fold Jurassic in there. I don't know.
I think maybe just Souptastic, but then it sounds like I'm in a grocery store.
Yeah, I think you need the super. Yeah,
Supertastic. Aaron, what do you think?
I was thinking about like a chain restaurant themed around Superman and soup. I like Jenna's quite a bit. The Supertastic is probably how that's gonna go. Although you gotta find somebody to get Jurassic in there too. People love dinos.
Yeah.
No Supertastic for you.
Jurassic 4, man.
Marcus Ward is saying it's not a true double feature, though. That's true, but also a lot of people are probably going to double feature them both. That is the one downside of these releasing so close to each other, is like Superman will only have so long of an IMAX window, but like there will definitely be people who will go rewatch Superman or watch it for the first time when they can watch both of these.
I've actually had some really interesting meetings, and I hope they end up panning out, but I'm trying to put together screening events for a few of these things coming up, and it'd be cool, man, if we were able to do like a Phase Hero Supertastic Rebirth marathon of some sort, where week after week we're doing it. But that's all. It would be a miracle if it even happens with one of these movies, let alone all three. But we'll see what happens. Supertastic Rebirth, Super 4 Rebirth in the comments. triple feature, I'm here for it. I'm 100% doing a Supertastic double feature. Screening in LA, Marcus Ward. I mean, that's always the city where people want to do screenings because that's where all these companies and these studios and the talent are. So it's always the easiest. If it was up to me, we'd do a world damn tour. I'd go have a freaking Phase Hero Fantastic Four screening in New York, Miami, Chicago, Nashville, Austin, LA, Portland. I don't care. I'll get on a plane every day. We'll watch the movie every day leading up to the official release. But I don't think we have that big of an audience in that many cities yet. But I do think Fantastic Four does, so it would be interesting. But no, that is not happening. Charlotte, let's go Blue Stampede. I'll come to Charlotte. Anyway, all right, that's our show today, everybody. We'll see. I'm trying to take this Phase Hero thing to the moon, and you guys, being here every week, listening, supporting, sharing, all the stuff you guys do. It's amazing. So we appreciate that. Aaron, what you got to end the show today?
Oh, it's at Summit Lake Hornet everywhere. Thank you guys for watching. Do not cry, Lillian, Alaska. Maybe, you never say never. I'm doing a bunch of writing over with #show2, and I'm going to be reviewing all of regular show. Thank you to Warner Brothers Home Entertainment for sending this through. I spent all of my 20s quoting this at my friends. So this is going to be massive. I need to go get a 12-egg omelet.
That's going to be expensive. Eggs are pricey right now.
Well, I mean, listen, and I'm going to kill myself like Rigby. That's the problem as well. For a trucker hat that says I'm excellent.
I had eggs this morning and I was like, I'm rich. Dancing Dog 60, thank you so much for the $2 at the end here. Super chat. Keep up the amazing work, y'all. Thank you so much for that, my friend. Dancing Dog. What a profile picture too. That really is a dancing dog. All right, Jenna, what you got to wrap up the show today?
It's at Hey It's Jenna Lynn on social media. As always, go read some comics and go subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is at Go Read Some Comics. I just crossed 5,000 subscribers this morning with the help of my Fantastic Four trailer breakdown. So come join the party. Come watch that video if you haven't already done so. I was like so ready to just be like, all right, I'll watch when it happens when I hit 5,000, and it happened while I was asleep. But I'm very thankful for it.
Let's go. You're crushing it. I know you're just getting started. It's going to be awesome to see where you take this YouTube journey. I think some of this stuff that happened a few months ago is going to turn out to be some of the best things that could have happened to us, even if it has its hard moments and difficulties. I think it's also going to be pushing us to really pave new roads for ourselves. And I'm proud of this group. Jenna, I'm proud of you. I think it's awesome. I'm really grateful for everybody who's listening and supporting, not just to Phase Hero, obviously people who go to Jenna's channel. Your Jason Aaron interview you just published today. I see the comments. People are loving it. People are like, I just discovered your channel. I binged it. And now Jason Aaron is there. So everybody go subscribe to Jenna's channel. Go read some comics. Marcus Ward's on the way right now. You got London subscribing to the channel. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging with us. PhaseHero.com has all of our episodes, all of our interviews, whether it's live, whether it's pre-taped, whatever. It has our merch there. The site might continue to evolve, who knows, but PhaseHero.com exists. That is an easy way to send our show to new people. And we appreciate you guys who are doing that. Thank you so much for the support on the Fantastic Four episode. Still over 100 people while I'm just yapping about nothing. I'm going to wrap this up. Play our show for your dad, play it for your cat. We will see you possibly Sunday night after the Super Bowl. Stay tuned to Facebook, Blue Sky, and Twitter to find out if we're going to do that. We'll send a post up. If not, and just subscribe to the channel. You'll get a notification if we are going to go live, obviously. And we will see you there, or else we will see you on Wednesday for our regularly scheduled show. And I got to tee up I always forget this outro. It's just part of the bit. I wish I was doing it intentionally now, but